In last lecture, we have recapitulated some of the informations about the nodes and the truffle. In this lecture, we'll be working on some practical stuff. So without any further waiting, let's start. Let's open our coding editors. And what I would like to do, I would like to do some changes in our contract. So what we are keeping here just some testing values. We don't need any counter here. We don't need any test here. This was just for explaining of int and uint values, or int and uint types. All right, let's remove them. And currently we are keeping here funds. By the way, when I'm saying here funds equal 1000, it doesn't mean that I will magically create here some money. Okay, that doesn't mean that I will create here 1000 ether from nothing. Okay, so your contract cannot just create randomly money as it wants. As you'll notice, when you will create your contract, it's deployed on Ganache. Let's open Ganache, and you will notice your contract. Your contract by default, when it's deployed, has a funds here balance of 0 ether. Okay, so when I'm saying here 1000, and I would like to send something from here, because you can also make transactions from contracts. If I would make here any transfer from a contract, nothing would happen because I don't have here any balance. This funds is just simply the number I am keeping in the storage, nothing more. That's not real currency. What I can use the funds storage variable for is, for example, to keep the track of what user, how many my clients, how many ether. What I can use for is for how many ether my clients have. For example, if I would have here balance of 1000 here, so I would have a real balance of 1000 in the funds. I could keep, for example, that I have a funds of user 0x some number, doesn't really matter, some address, and he would have 500, for example, and then I would have the other client and his funds on the address, let's say 1x and fa32, doesn't really matter. Okay, it would be 500 or 300, and then I would have some other client, and this other client would have some other funds, so let's say 200. Yeah, then it's nice to keep the track of how many funds, and the funds would also mimic, or the funds would be exactly the same value as the balance. Okay, therefore that would be useful. I would have a balance of 1000. I would know that this user has a 500, this user has a 300, this user has a 200, and when I need to send them the money back, I know to which user sent how much money. But just by saying funds equal to 1000, I'm not creating any money. Money are created when you are making transactions to your contract and you are sending some value. You are sending some ether in the transaction. Okay. I just wanted to clear this out, and with all this said, we can actually remove also funds. We'll keep it quite empty, and I will create here one specific function, so we can create a transaction and we can send some ether to our contract. Okay, this is a special function. Usually, when you are creating functions, you need to provide a function keyword, but this function is special. It's called a receive function like this, and you just need to specify this function. Specify here function body. It's empty function body. You don't need to specify here anybody, just like this. And you will mark this function as an external. It's basically that you can call it from outside. It's a public function, external. I'll go into details later, and it's also payable. So whenever you are making a transaction that contains value, basically it contains ether you are sending in a transaction, and you want to receive this value, you need to mark your function as payable. Okay, so when I'm making a transaction and calling specific function, then I can receive the ether. Okay, so now what we can do, we can just simply save it, and we can recompile our application. We can deploy it again to Ganache. Okay, let's go to terminal. When you want to redeploy to Ganache, you can run here truffle migrate, but this will not work because you already migrated your contract. So when you want to reset them, so when you want to remigrate, you need to provide here a command -- reset. Okay, and this will remigrate your contract. And I have here a small issue, I guess. So receive external payable expected identifier, but got this. Okay, that's actually nice because what can this means is that we are using the old compiler that it's not aware of this syntax yet. So what we'll do, we are just simply change the version of our compiler. Okay, so let's go back to our congators. Okay, and let's go to truffle config.js. We are using quite old version, 0.5.1. Let's get it here, 0.8.4. Okay, and now let's run here truffle migrate. Okay, so truffle migrate reset. This can refetch the new compiler, so this maybe will take longer. Let's see. Actually, okay, it has been already done. Perfect, so it has been compiled. Perfect. Okay, so we can go to Ganache. Maybe you need to just go to transactions and to contracts back to see the changes. Click here on faucet, and storage should be empty, and that's basically it. Now what we want to do is just to simply send the transaction to our contract and include in this transaction some ether, but I will leave it for the next lecture. So just these changes, guys. Storage should be now empty, and in next lecture we'll try to send the transaction. See you there, guys. Cheers.